It is Wednesday afternoon, a little bit after 1, almost 1:10 or thereabouts, and looking at some emails. I just got my Dan John Wandering Weights number 466. Um, he sends out a weekly newsletter. Through the years, I've probably gotten more useful tips from Dan John, almost maybe from anyone, and not just um, kettlebells, although quite a bit of kettlebells. But 20 years ago, he had me doing weighted carries. Such a simple thing. Why did I never think of it before? Of course, I sort of did. I backpack. So, I used to put a heavy pack on my back and go out for um, days at a time. Sometimes, when I was in my 20s and 30s, for weeks at a time, I would go out with my backpack on. A buddy and I would trespass the Appalachian Trail, usually almost every weekend for a while. And then we would go out. Sometimes we spent a month going through the Smoky Mountains, just backpacking, doing whatever we felt like. And again, it's such a simple thing. Rucking, weighted carries, um, not to mention some Ayurvedic stuff that I do. I originally got from Dan John. Tongue cleaning. Um, a squat stool that you use when you go to the bathroom. I won't go into details. You put your feet up. It puts you in that squat position, optimizing elimination. Things that I've known about, for a long time, but never really considered putting them into practice until reading Dan John's newsletter and really sparking my interest. So I thought I'd go through just a little bit here, see what he has to say. If you are into lifting, if you're into kettlebells, his programming is ingenious. Definitely worth trying out. Here he's talking about 3 sets of 10 with a progressively heavier weight. Set 1, 50% for 10 repetition. Set 2, 75% of 10 repetition. Maximum 10 reps. Set 3, 100% of 10 repetitions. So that's you can't get 11. So when he says 100%, that means you're topped off at that 10 rep. All right, I don't want to get too much into the weeds with Dan's newsletter. Here's a quick little routine. Overhead press, vertical pull, horizontal press, horizontal pull, squat, deadlift variation. There you go. He also suggests ab wheel rollouts. Sorry. Third time I got that out. As well as, obviously, Dan John, loaded carries. So, highly recommend subscribing to his newsletter. Interesting stuff, always. He has me going over some of the things that I've been doing. I have this concept of de-aging in my mind, unaging, reversing the aging process. Now, I'm 58. I generally don't mind being 58. I have some aches and pains from having a high mileage body. I've done a lot of shit. I've competed in a lot of stuff. I spent 10 plus years doing ultras, a lot of ultras, an ultra a month for the vast majority of those 10 years. I've competed in kettlebell sport, I've competed in martial arts, different stuff. Things that make the body go bang quite a bit. So I'm actually doing pretty good for 58. I can work out every day. I can work out hard pretty much every day. I'm not saying that you necessarily should work out hard every day, but I'm able to. I'm closing in another month or two. I'll hit 700 days of burpees straight. Not a bad. Our friend Destiny Forever Walks, PhD, is here. Hello, Destiny. How are you? I'm doing well. I'm talking about de-aging, unaging ourselves. And I don't mean that in any sense of vanity. I don't mean that in any sense of thinking there's something wrong with the age we are. We've earned being here. This is a lofty position, to be 58 with a high mileage body, still being able to do everything that I want to do, still having plans for things that I would like to do. But can we knock off some of the inflammation? Can we knock off some of the stress-related issues at hand? Can we decrease our biological age? And again, not for any sense of vanity, not to look better, although there's certainly nothing wrong with looking better. But, hey, we got stuff to do. People who watch me talk, we're pretty much like-minded people, I would assume, I think. The world's a bit of a mess. Politically divisive, violence across the world, senseless terrorism, senseless wars. There's only one hope, and that's you. That's me. We have to take the spiritual technology of the prayer of St. Francis to heart. And it truly is spiritual technology. He is telling you what to do. He's asking God, Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. And when he says Lord, when he's on his knees, when he's praying, he's not beseeching something far and distant in the sky, in a heaven that is far beyond the realm of earth. He is talking about the Lord that lives within us all, the God that lives within us all. He is asking his highest, truest self, his connection to God, his connection to Spirit, please make me an instrument of thy peace. Destiny says that she believes that we can. It all starts with our mindset, believing that we are able to accomplish whatever we want or whatever we want to achieve and change. I agree that it does start with the mind, and I think that is the value of meditation, of breath work, of deep prayer, of having that spiritual connection, which is why I brought in the prayer of St. Francis, who went through such a transformation himself. Remember, he was a womanizer, he was a soldier of fortune, he was a gambler, he was violent at times, and he had that spiritual transformation where he became St. Francis, at peace with the world, at peace with every animal. So what I'm thinking about with de-aging is, again, hey, we got stuff to do. We have peace to invoke. We have wars to reverse. We have healers to vote for. The better shape we are physically, mentally, emotionally, the better we can serve the world. And if not us, then who? Who's going to do it for us? We have a great younger generation coming up. but they need role models of people doing it themselves. We can't shrug things off and say, hey, we helped create this problem, but now it's up to you. You got to fix what we messed up. No, we got to fix what we messed up. We got to fix what the prior generations messed up. They did their best. Now let's do better. And we can only do that by extending our years healthily, happily, certain ways. Destiny says that yes, the power of meditation, that will work. It certainly decreases our stress levels. It de-ages our minds. It places us in a spiritual, peaceful centeredness, so that we act more accordingly to our spiritual values, our loving depth of heart. We are better people. We're a better person when we meditate. That's when we come to Teilhard de Chardin, I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, who claim that we are not humans that have a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings that have a human experience. That's what we come in contact with when we meditate, as well as prayer, as well as when we do breath work. So you're probably familiar with the blue zones. These are places around the world where people live to their 90s and their 100s. But more importantly, they get to be that age and they're physically active. They're well grounded. They have relationships. They're engaged with life. And my father, at 93, was certainly engaged with life up until his dying day. His last conversation was out of concern for his family. So they are largely plant-based diet. They're not vegans. We couldn't even by right call them vegetarians. But the vast majority of the food that they eat is plant-based. Lots of legumes, lots of greens, lots of grains. The myth that whole grains is bad for you is just that. It's a myth. If you're going to have meat, it doesn't have to be the center of your plate. It doesn't have to be the main thing, and everything else is just an added ingredient or on the side. It's only recently that our culture became that meat-centered. Yes, we've always eaten meat, but it wasn't always just, we didn't double up everything. You didn't always have to have a cheeseburger or a double cheeseburger or a double bacon cheeseburger or a double bacon cheeseburger or a meat lover's pizza. You could just have pizza. You could just have a cheeseburger. It's the media that tells you to eat more, and who do you think sponsors that? It's the agribusinesses. It's not farms. We're not supporting farmers any longer. We're supporting businesses. If you want to eat meat, go to a small farm. Go to a butcher shop. Know where your meat is coming from. If you're eating hamburgers and you think it came from one cow, you're in for a surprise. It came from multiple cows, everything ground together. You have no idea what's in there. And again, I'm not saying I'm vegan. I talk about it often. I'm not saying you need to be vegan or vegetarian, but try to center your diet plant-based. The evidence is out there on how much better that is for you, how much better that is for the planet. And here's something that we don't like to give thought towards. In order for our country to eat meat, that means we demand a greater amount of resources. That means that the vast majority of grains that are produced go to feed cattle, go to feed pigs. That grain, there's enough grain feeding the cattle industry that every starving person on earth would be able to eat daily, every day. We could end world hunger just by recommitting ourselves, by looking at our plate and saying, I don't need all this. This is ridiculous. I don't need a double bacon cheeseburger. I don't need a meat lover's pizza. What I need is healthy arteries. What I need is a healthy planet. What I need is children not starving somewhere. That's what I need. And we can do that. But we need to recommit ourselves, and we need to remind ourselves every day, we're not the center of the universe. We are all the center of the universe because we are all the universe. But we got to get that individual selfish I out of the equation. Destiny says that reversing our age also will have to make changes in the brain. The brain is programmed to carry out whatever we feel our thoughts. This is my out-of-the-box thinking. I absolutely agree with you. And there are ways of changing the brain. One, and it's talked about, the author of the Blue Zones talks about that. Being engaged with others in a community, being engaged with the world, empathy, compassion, and training ourselves to have empathy and compassion. And we can do that. We can do that with loving kindness meditation. Metta meditation is what it's called in the original Pali language of the Buddha. Training ourselves to be compassionate, training ourselves to be empathetic. If everyone held that practice, 10 minutes a day, loving kindness meditation, the world would change almost instantaneously. It doesn't have to be all of us even. If we just one at a time, one person at a time, started saying, hey, it's time to wake up. I'm a participant in the world. I'm not just a mere observer. I'm not just watching people starving and think, that's a shame. I wish there was something I could do about it. There is something you can do about it. It starts with your plate. It also starts with what Destiny says. It starts with your thoughts. Remember, Emerson said the ancestor of every action is a thought. The message of the Tao Te Ching is change your thinking, change the world. Change how you think about the world. Engage in the world and watch what happens. Watch how you change. Come on YouTube and just making a video and saying, hey, let's all wake up just a little bit. Let's all make some minor changes in our lives and see what happens. That's the purpose of de-aging that I'm thinking about. And we can literally rewire the brain, again, for empathy and compassion, for truthfulness, which is a big thing in yogic psychology. It's one of the yamas, and the yamas are the ethical restraints. We restrain from lying in order for truth to grow. And we're talking all lying, the gossip, the political memes that we put out there because we think they're funny, because they make fun of someone. It's not true. None of those memes are true. So it's a form of lying. When we do that, we're rewiring the brain. Neuro reprogramming, neuroplasticity. The brain has that plasticity throughout our lives, meaning that we can rewire ourselves. We can also do that through music, being careful of the input. If we listen to angry music and we're angry all the time, is that a surprise? If we listen to soothing music, music that speaks to our heart, we're more peaceful, we're more engaged. There's an entire yogic science of sound medicine, where they work with sounds, they work with mantras, they work with rajas, which are the sacred sounds, sacred music. Classical music, the Beatles, all that positive. There's not a whole lot of modern music that I appreciate too much, but there is some. I think Beyonce has a beautiful message that she puts out there. So pick your music carefully. Pick what you read carefully. Pick what you watch carefully. And above all, be aware of what media is putting out there that just registers briefly on the brain, but it has such a deep, deep impact. Social media and regular media, because there's an investment to profit off of you. That's why one of the yogic psychology principles, what they call the afflictions, the 5 afflictions, things that we don't realize are happening. And the first one is avidya, which is ignorance. We don't realize that the media is tugging us all over the place, making us believe and do things that we wouldn't under normal circumstances in a different time. And the worst thing with avidya, the worst thing with ignorance, is that we are ignorant of our ignorance. So not only don't we know, but we're unaware that we don't know. We don't know that we don't know, if that makes sense. And yet we keep insisting that we do. We'd rather believe the falsehood of our beliefs than to know the truth about something. We'd rather believe in conspiracy theories than to explore what's true, what's real. All this relates to de-aging ourselves because we put that clutter in our brains. And as Destiny says, the brain must be rewired. We can't do that if we keep putting garbage in. So we need to start there. Start with the mind, start with the plate, start with the things that you can do. Physically, a proper diet's going to help you reducing inflammation. Yoga, Qigong, balance out the hard stuff that you do. Balance out the burpees, balance out the running, balance out the weightlifting with something soft. That's the principle of the Tao Te Ching. That's the principle of Taoism. Yin Yang, hard, soft. So yoga, Qigong, Tai Chi, some of the more fluid styles of martial arts. Walking in nature. Walking in nature will do more to rewire your brain than almost anything. The sounds of nature are healing. Go for a 20-minute walk in the morning, getting sunlight to the eyes. Your sleep will increase dramatically if you do that. When sunlight hits the eyes first thing in the morning, and it has to be genuine, real sunlight, not artificial light, it sparks a biochemical reaction, hormonal change in the body. Your body starts to produce cortisol, adrenaline, one other hormone that I can't recall right now, and which, of course, we're thinking, why do I want cortisol? Why do I want these stress hormones? Because you're starting your day. And you want that small amount of manageable stress to help you get going, to help you face the day. It's better than a cup of coffee. And I like coffee. The great thing is, those very same hormones, they reach their peak and then they start dying off, decreasing. And in their wake, they leave the raw material for your body to produce serotonin and melatonin, which are the sleep and the rest and digest hormones that you need to unwind and get ready for bed. So what you do in the morning has a direct impact of how you're going to go to sleep later in the night. Not only that, sleep is probably one of the most important factors of de-aging yourself. Getting the proper sleep, getting that deep, deep, deep rest, which is another value of meditation. Meditation gives you a rest deeper than sleep. Because at sleep, your brain is still active a lot of the time, the dream state. And then waking up, going to the bathroom, trying to get back to sleep. You might have 2 hours of quality dreamless sleep throughout the night. Meditation puts you directly into that quiet mind that has the impact. Destiny says there's nothing better than reconnecting ourselves back to nature. I agree, 100%. and it's free. And you find nature everywhere. You can find nature on a city street. You just got to know where to look. Listen to the birds. Listen to the emptiness of the sky when nothing's happening. Find those places of silence in between traffic, flight patterns. It's there, but we're drawn to the sounds and we miss the silence that holds those sounds. Draw yourself back to that silence, the silence of nature, our true nature, which is why Herman Melville said, silence is the only true voice of God. All of these things really start to reverse the aging process or halt the aging process to a large extent. I think a 7 posture yoga routine is almost all you need. Even better, look up Tibetan yoga. Look up the 5 rites of Tibetan yoga. 5 moves that you can do daily. Really does wonders for the entire body. Rewires the brain, resets the clock. And then we got the time to do that stuff that we were talking about. Spending more time with family, spending more time with friends, being more active in social groups that have place of value on helping the world be a better place. So don't just think of de-aging as this selfish purpose of getting younger to look better and be fitter. Those are benefits. Those are side effects. The true value is, what can we do to serve the world? That should be the mantra that we all have. How can I serve? How can I serve others? Important question to ask. All right, so let's end it here for the day. Just about 30 minutes. Hopefully there was important things covered and I didn't just ramble. Although I know I did ramble, but maybe I rambled on some important things. Who knows? You guys let me know. And if there's ever anything else that you want me to ramble about, let me know. Leave a comment. And if anyone wants to join me in a conversation, I'm always happy to invite a friend and we'll talk. Would be my pleasure and an honor to talk to any one of you. I just got to figure out how to do it. That's all. So, Destiny, my friend, thank you for popping in, and I appreciate the wisdom and the insights that you share. And especially, I know this is a topic that you're interested in as well. You know, being as healthy as possible for as long as possible. Destiny says you did great expressing your thoughts. Thank you. I appreciate hearing that. Some days it flows. Some days I feel like I'm stumbling over my words. But I always try to at least be honest and just put those thoughts out there. We'll see. We'll see if it does any good. It does good for me because I feel better coming here and just, as Destiny said, expressing myself. So I will see everyone tomorrow morning for some burpees. I think it's going to be a 6-count day. And then I'll see you again in the afternoon. If there's any topic that you would like to talk about, just leave it in the comment section and I'll find it and we'll talk about it. All right, guys. You have a good day. Destiny, thank you again. I will see you later. Take care.